Success of Suni Lee, Litherland, and Justine Wong-Orantes at Tokyo 2020 reflects long, hard fight for Asian American athletes. Shortly after his most recent success, Litherland was lauded as the first Asian American to win an Olympic medal for the U.S. at the Tokyo Games. However, the celebrations didn't stop with him. As the Games progressed, Team USA saw much success, especially among its Asian American contingent. Finally, Justine Wong-Orantes helped Team USA take its first ever gold in women's volleyball. More than a dozen Asian American and Pacific Islander athletes left Tokyo with medals around their necks, helping the American team reach the top of the medal table after 2 weeks of rigorous competition amid the COVID-19 pandemic. If AAPI Olympic representation is in the spotlight following Tokyo, that success has come from less than promising circumstances. AAPI divers break ground. AAPI athletes began making headlines in the late 1940s, when diver Victoria Vicky Draves became the first Asian American to medal at the 1948 Summer Olympic Games in London. Fellow teammate Suni Lee medaled days after Draves, making him the first Asian American man to win a gold medal. However, both Draves and Lee endured racism that often hindered their ability to train. Draves adopted her mother's maiden name, Taylor, when competing in order to prevent potential racial discrimination that came along with using her father's Filipino surname, Manalo, according to the United States Olympic and Paralympic Museum. She also grew up in a low-income household where swimming was not a priority. Despite those hardships, both athletes excelled in their performances. Draves became the first woman to win 2 golds in both the 3-meter springboard and 10-meter platform in the same Olympics in 1948. At the same Games, Lee won bronze in the 3-meter springboard and gold in the 10-meter platform. He went on to defend his gold medal in the 10-meter platform event at the 1952 Olympics in Helsinki. I saw their pride and I was just taken aback. 44 years after Draves' victories at the 1948 Summer Games, Kristi Yamaguchi made history as the first Asian American to win a gold medal in figure skating as well as becoming the second Asian American woman to win gold in any Olympic sport.
But I think afterwards, I felt just such an incredible amount of support from the Asian American community. And I saw their pride, and I was just taken aback. According to Yamaguchi, she was one of 2 Asian Americans representing Team USA at the 1992 Albertville Winter Games, alongside Natasha Kachiki, who competed in pair skating. Was a huge role model of mine because I think I definitely had that connection of her being Asian American and someone that I felt I could emulate and look up to, Yamaguchi said. I saw representation in Tiffany Chin, and that inspired me. And, hopefully, the more we see ourselves out there, the more people will believe in themselves, Yamaguchi explained. Following Yamaguchi's Olympic gold medal performance, Asian Americans began finding success across a plethora of sports, including Atlanta 1990 SIXS Magnificent 7 gold medal winning gymnast Amy Chow, 2-time Olympic figure skating medalist Michelle Kwan and gold medal winning snowboarding superstar Chloe Kim. The Olympic stage has steadily changed for Team USA since the days of Yamaguchi for both the Winter and Summer Games. At the London Olympics in 2012, 18 AAPI athletes represented Team USA, with several more as backups. The Tokyo Games occurred nearly a decade after the London Olympics, yet the American team saw nearly a 3-fold increase in AAPI athletes since that time. Asians make up about 7% of the nation's population, making them the fastest-growing racial or ethnic group in the U.S., according to data from Pew Research Center. Despite being the only Asian American in the U.S. women's Olympic volleyball team in Tokyo, Wong-Orantes often sees many AAPIs training alongside her in California. Of the Asian Americans competing for the U.S., many have openly identified as multiracial. Generational changes happen and we're seeing even more mixed-race athletes, Yamaguchi said. For multiracial athletes like Litherland, who is of Japanese and New Zealand descent, envisioning his goals wasn't difficult when seeing an increasing number of successful individuals with a similar background to his.
Although Litherland was born in Japan and holds triple citizenship in Japan, New Zealand, and the US, he wholeheartedly chose to swim on behalf of the American team, despite also being eligible to try out for the Japanese and Kiwi national teams. Wong-Orantes, another multiracial athlete of Mexican and Chinese descent, Also noticed the diversity among other Team USA hopefuls training at the courts. If you look within the whole gym and in the program, we have so many athletes that come from very different backgrounds. It's our jobs as the current athletes right now to inspire that and push for that, Wong-Orantes stated. Historically, there has been low participation among Asian Americans in the Olympics and in major sports leagues. However, the current state of representation is slowly changing as the new wave of Asian American athletes challenge the status quo. And that's in no small part to athletes like Wong-Orantes. In my sport, that can be a disadvantage, says Wong-Orantes matter-of-factly about her height. I would just say it's not too late, and you can still achieve your dreams. And whatever you want to aspire to be, go after it.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe